Why PR matters more than ever in 2020 post COVID? Um the COVID 19 pandemic has deeply impacted the core of the industry and how we communicate and connect with one another. Much has been made out of the need for companies to articulate their support for society at this time. And there is no question that PR is well placed to navigate that specific challenge. Um, I also believe that the situation has made many agencies and individual publicists, turn and talk as consultant and not just as agencies for sure. In fact, I believe that as a PR consultant, we are the only source for the client to issue out any kind of message in this particular, era which we are going through. Um, in fact, post COVID, brands require PR agencies to help in such situation. PR is now required in building market competitiveness, which is very important at the moment. And the current format will be more digital. This is the latest and the new trend, which has been happening since 2015 and 16, where I believe that a lot of independent media houses took the route of going online, and the kind of the demand they have right now is very very immense. Like no one could have imagined that in 2015 online media would become the one and the only source of credibility to reach out in such kind of a situation where we had news a lack of newspapers, media houses were shutting down, journalists were not able to cover up multiple stories. I think online and digital is the way forward in the future. And of course, as I said earlier as well, that digital relies on data. If you don't have the right data, we don't have anything. That's what I believe, and I think that I think I can see that in the future as well. Um, and of course, one of the important things is that PR also is playing a very very major role in terms of controlling fake news in the industry. So it could be anything in terms of a competitor going out and spreading about a false news about its other competitors in the market. That's where the PR steps in, and does the crisis management and ensures the right kind of communication is spoken out to the consumers, and ensured that that these are the rumors or these are the fake news which are there in the market. Um, in fact, agencies have learned during these turbulent times that the audience value more of connection than the content, because they always rely that what the companies are talking about, what is happening in the market. It could be anything in terms of finance, it could be anyone who's already invested into the companies. So PR has been playing that vital role, especially the post COVID-19 era. And I think post COVID, agencies have in fact come back stronger. Clients have rearranged their strategies, PR agents have rearranged their strategies, and they need PR to continue and help in building their brands as well. In fact, a lot of startups and SMEs have risen up in India, and they all need a PR, and they want the PR to help them out through these situation. So PR is and will always play an important role. Traditional communication will always be there. That's what I also believe. Okay. No matter how many changes or how many new technologies come into the market or become the trend in the industry, but the roots of PR with the traditional media will always be there. In fact, I believe that as a PR or as a publicist, we should invest time and resources in high level strategy, PR activities, and it's not just going to be like following the traditional way. As a publicist, I often believe, and I always like we always believe and we always say, oh, we wish had that extra hour, and if only we had more time, then I believe that that's the time we have right now. Okay, and depending, so few of the things which are I feel that post COVID-19, every PR agency or a independent publicist should follow certain guidelines, in order to make their campaigns, their strategies successful post the COVID-19. I believe, it all depends on the kind of each story we are working for the client, the impact for the brand, who rely on media varies for PR. So, on each story, we need to look into it. It's not the same way where we had a story, we had an announcement, and we would go out and we would speak to the media. That time has little bit changed, where we need to evaluate every story, the kind of the importance it holds, how effective it would be if the news is broken out. So all that points needs to be considered. One should actually, I believe, number one, we should evaluate the news. Okay, how impact, as I said, that it should have that successful impact on any campaign, or the story we want to pitch to the media. We should also, second thing I would say, that we should also learn to adjust our strategy and narrative to, make sure that our story still has legs and doesn't come out as, as a very insensitive story. Okay. um, we should also decide if we need to postpone our brand's news until, any kind of an important announcement or news are going on. So for example, if we believe that there is an announcement happening about the COVID-19 vaccines coming out into the market, and on the other hand, we pretty know that a client wants to do an announcement, I think, based on the analysis and the experience and understanding, uh, I believe that majority of the media would be inclined and focused towards covering the COVID-19 vaccines, rather than covering your client's announcement, until unless it is related to that same announcement or somewhere related to it. And if it's a generic announcement, I think, and it's a pretty advisable that you should tell the client to push that announcement a little later, maybe a weeks later or maybe 2 weeks later. Okay. Apart from that, in today's time, apart from the traditional PR, we should always look at the alternative channels and mediums, to share a client story. Whether it could be, blogs, whether it could be influencers, whether, it could be reaching out through paid articles as well. So all these things does matter in terms of doing a bit of alignment. When we are doing any kind of campaigns or strategies, especially in the post COVID-19 era, we should also ensure that our story speaks more on the lines of data and statistics, and not just give a plain announcement, as it will help to boost the news and, take it to another tangent. Sixth is, I believe that, as I've said earlier as well, that whatever the industry we are working for, if the industry of a brand which we are working for, and if they are impacted by a breaking news or a significant news story, as I said, that, if the COVID vaccine news is coming out and your client's announcement is also coming out, ideally it would be the best time that we would strategize, analyze that what's going to happen, if our news is going to get covered or not. If possible, push out the news, because COVID-19 vaccine, of course, that's the most important news. The entire media, from your cat A top media publications to your cat, B, C, D, E, whatever categories you have, everyone is going to just focus on that news itself. So I think that would be the best policy, and that would be the best strategy, to just push your client's news out maybe a week or 2 weeks later. The last thing I believe, that, we should have a very strong communication strategy in place, which is also very important now than it was ever before. I'm not saying that that, communication strategy is not important, but it has become on priority right now. If we don't have the right strategy, if we don't have the right, data as well, it's nothing going to be evaluated, or nothing going to be profitable in the end, when we are doing any kind of a campaign or story for a client. And we should make sure that whatever we are telling is the right story to the right audience at the right time, and it has never been a vital to your brand as it is now. So these are certain things which needs to be considered, because tomorrow, if I get a story and I'm going to pitch it out after a week or something, and I know that, it will give me and I know that, that's the time required. But if suppose that story holds more weightage, for example, if we have a pharma client which is also working upon doing COVID-19 vaccines, and we have other companies which are already issuing out a statement, I think that would be the best time for our client also to come up and issue a statement that how long will they take in order to come out with their vaccines. Because if we're going to push out on delay just because we don't have a proper news in hand, it just might result that my client would just be on the backlog, saying that the media would say that, oh, we already have covered, X company has already come out with the vaccines and they're going to roll out on so and so date. Your company never came up with the announcement. Your company never said that how much time they're going to take. So I think we need to ensure that those strategies and alignment are proper. Okay. And coming to the last point, which I always believe is that I have always been telling my clients as well that they need to be proactive rather than being reactive, because PR can create such buzz that people will recall your brand whenever they want, wherever they are, or anything what the brand provides. PR can help you to recall all your services, your products, and everything. And also the PR will give you that momentum to get back to business when when everything resumes normally. Right now, still we are in the process where we're coming out of the whole situation of the COVID-19, and I believe that a lot of innovations are already happening in the industry. People are trying various methods. They're trying various techniques, in order to leverage the best PR strategies and campaigns for their client. And I also believe that there would be new opportunities that would emerge out of the whole COVID-19 situation. And currently, I believe that we are in a V-shaped recession. So I mean to say, in V-shaped recession is something when you see a dip into something, you also see a massive rise as well of that particular sector or of that particular brand as well. So that's when that's where PR itself will come out very very strongly, and it is coming out strongly. Okay, but I believe that PR will always be the game changer for any brand, any client, irrespective whether it's an profile, individual profile, or a SME, or a big company. PR will always be the game changer. And lastly, I just want to end that we should all spend time as effectively as possible for clients, and give out our more valuable services to them. Thank you.